If your child constantly seems like they're uncomfortable, they're not sleeping well, their stomach always seems to be hurting, they can react to a food one week and the next week they're completely fine with that food, they get rashes, they have congestion, and these flare ups just don't really make sense or line up. And emotionally, it feels like everything is just harder for them. They get overwhelmed quickly, they melt down easily. It's like their system is always on edge. You've been to appointments, you've asked the questions, and what you keep hearing constantly is everything looks normal, they'll grow out of it, let's just manage it for now. But as a parent, you can feel it. Something deeper is going on. There's a deeper root cause. This is usually where families start hearing about histamine, mast cells, or food sensitivities, trying to find something that finally explains what's happening in their child's body. But what if the real issue isn't just what your child is reacting to? What if it's why their body is reacting to so many things in the first place? For what most people think histamine is, most people are told histamine is just an allergy issue, something that we would react to, whether that's going to be some type of food, pollen, an environmental response, whether that's going to be off-gassing, like for new furniture, a new home. The solution becomes to avoid more, eliminate more, restrict more. And sometimes that will help temporarily, but then we start to see the child starts to react to new things. So what we've been avoided, sure, but now there's new sensitivities that are developing. So it just feels like a constant battle, and you're always feeling like there's a new trigger coming. So what histamine actually is? Histamine is a part of your child's immune system. It's not bad. That's what so many things we want to erase. Like, it's not a bad sign. It's protective. That's its nature. It's designed to respond when the body perceives a threat. So what we have to dive into is more of the research and what it's showing us. The immune system does not operate independently. It listens to the nervous system. And the cells that release histamine, these are mast cells. They don't just respond to allergens. They respond to stress signals, inflammation, environmental inputs, and the nervous system activity. So now the conversation completely changes when we think about why is the histamine response happening in the first place? It becomes more of, why is my child's nervous system interpreting so many things as a threat around them? So it's so much more of a safety issue within the body. The body is perceiving everything in its environment as a chronic stress. So then we need to kind of dive into what is chronic stress and cortisol and how is that connected. So this is where things finally start to click for families, because your child doesn't have to feel stressed. Their body can be living in a stress response. So this is different. When the nervous system is stuck in what we call sympathetic dominance, in our office we use gas pedal mode often to describe the sympathetic side of the nervous system. The body is constantly scanning every possible outcome for danger. And over time, this changes how the body will actually function. The cortisol patterns will actually shift. The immune system becomes more reactive. Inflammation in the body really increases, and mast cells will actually become easier to be triggered. So instead of responding appropriately, the body starts to over-respond. And that's when you start to see patterns like expanding food sensitivities, random flare-ups that, don't really track a normal course. You're going to see skin issues. The gut begins to become dysfunctional. Sleep struggles are happening. Emotional dysregulation is heightened. And sensory overload, whether that's sensory seeking or sensory avoidant, it has nothing to do with the body being broken. It has to do with the system being overwhelmed. So when we think about kids, this didn't just start yesterday with so many of our kids. This is what we call the perfect storm in our office. This is a really common theme that we see. And it's layers of stress that are built over time. They start with stress that occurred during your pregnancy, mom. Birth interventions that so often we see in these cases, early illnesses or antibiotics, environmental stressors, chronic inflammation, and sensory overload. Each layer adds more stress to the nervous system until the system loses its ability to regulate. And when this happens, the immune system gets so much louder and the gut gets a lot more sensitive, and the brain gets more reactive. So the brain's going to see higher levels of inflammation. We're going to see so much more dysregulation in the emotions, and histamine becomes a part of the picture, but it's not the root cause. The real root question, so instead of asking which food is causing this, or even the question of how do we lower the histamine, we have to ask, why is your child's body stuck in a state of defense? That's truly the question that we want to bring forward, because it's about the nervous system. Because when the body feels unsafe, it feels threatened, it's going to react to everything. So let's tie in how the nervous system is going to connect in this pattern for your child. This is where everything truly will come together. The nervous system is the air traffic controller of the body. It coordinates so many of it coordinates all of our functions, but we're just going to list a few. It's going to impact the immune function, inflammation, digestion, sleep, sensory processing, and emotional regulation. And those are heavily controlled by the vagus nerve. And your vagus nerve lives on the brake pedal side of the nervous system, which is your parasympathetic side of your nervous system. And when that system is not working adequately, the body can't calm down. The immune system cannot regulate, and the gut does not function as it was intended to. But when it's not, the system stays in that stress mode, and everything becomes so much more reactive because that parasympathetic function is not coming online. Often, so many families feel stuck in this space because you're doing all the right things. You have changed everything about their diet. You've tried all the supplements. You've removed triggers, but we're still working downstream when the real issue is upstream. Okay, we got to pay attention to that. We're kind of implementing so many of the changes, but we're not focused on the nervous system, because that's going to be the strict, like that foundational stress mode that we have to begin to regulate. This is why in our office we use insight scans. These scans are going to tell us exactly what's happening in your child's nervous system. So we don't need to guess. We can actually get measured data. They're going to answer these questions for us. And you can see in real time what's going on within their autonomic nervous system, that gas pedal, brake pedal conversation. It's going to help you really unpack, is your child stuck in stress mode? How adaptable is their nervous system? Is their system overwhelmed, or is it completely exhausted? For many parents, this is the first time they can actually see. This isn't random. My child's system is overwhelmed. So if your child is dealing with struggles like chronic reactions, histamine challenges, sensory struggles, gut issues, sleep issues, and they're emotionally just overwhelmed and tapped out, the answer is not just removing more things from their world, because I know you've done that. The deeper question is, how do we help their nervous system feel safe again? How do we get it to that repair mode? Then we can see the nervous system becoming more regulated. The body becomes less reactive when this happens. The immune system becomes more balanced, and healing is actually restored. And that's what we're seeking, is healing mode and growth mode to be 100% restored. If you've been searching for answers and you feel like you've tried absolutely everything, this is likely the missing foundational piece for your child, is a regulated and repaired nervous system. Because your child doesn't need more guessing. They need a better understanding of how their nervous system is actually functioning. And that's exactly where we start at Cultivate. So we hope this found you well. We hope this leaves you encouraged and filled with hope. We look forward to serving you.